on everyone, it's Blandon here from Go Stadium, and today we have the Cliffhanger team builder. And I'm going to show you guys how you can not only build a Cliffhanger team, but a freestyle great league in general as well. Sort of a team that you can use in just playing against your friends. So if you're new to PvP, after season 1, you're thinking about getting into season 2, this video is going to be so valuable for you because I know this team builder is going to help you throughout the whole season if you're willing to just invest a little bit of time to learn about it, because I know this has helped hundreds and hundreds of players. And if you have used these spreadsheets, do leave a comment down below. Let other new players know that how helpful this can be, as long as they decide to spend a little bit of time to learn about it. So I want to spend this time to show you how you can actually build an unbreakable team. Not only that, use it to analyze your opponent's team and see where you can, any areas you can exploit by looking at their team composition. So this is going to be a powerful one. I urge you to just take the time to watch this. So Cliffhanger, you guys probably know already, a lot of content has been covered and you've probably seen the Reddit post, so I'm not going to go into it too much. Basically, you have to choose some Pokemon that is going to fit in the 17 points. Each Pokemon has its own point system, some being 0 points. So you can use some less desirable Pokemon to build your team and see how you can sort of, go against your friends. But essentially, Cliffhanger uses all of the Pokemon in freestyle. So it's very much like freestyle. So these team builder, there's a spreadsheet link down below. We have the light version here. So light version because there's a lot of work being put in behind the scenes to put this together, and the team decided that we want to prioritize the supporters. So we do have a freemium version. This is for all of y'all. It does have 41 Pokemon, some of the top meta picks that you can choose from. So looking at this sheet, I'm going to go through sheet by sheet so that you have a better understanding of how you can use this. So starting off, we have the instruction. You can see how you can actually download it. The PV poke list. So the 41 Pokemon highlighted, those are the ones that you have in the freemium. And if you're a Patreon supporter, you'll have the full version with the 100 Pokemon on there. And you can see all the moveset that it has. So starting off with the datasheet, so here we have the datasheet. So let's have a look at the datasheet. What is the datasheet and how do you read this? These numbers are based on the numbers that you see on PvPoke. If you guys haven't used PvPoke yet, I urge you, go on PvPoke, go on the rankings, click on one of the Pokemon. So if you click on any Pokemon like Oteria, you have these 500, 700, etc. You guys probably know if it's above 500, it means it's going to beat that Pokemon. So like Oteria is going to beat Metachamp just with a smidgen of health. 503, if we open this up, it's got 9 scenarios. So 0 shield, Metachamp is actually going to win. Sorry, Oteria is going to win. And then in the 1 shield against 1 shield, Oteria is still going to win. But in the 2 shield scenario, Metachamp actually comes out on top because Oteria loses at 376 battle rating, meaning it's going to lose. So these are the numbers on the sheet. So you can see, I know it's going to be very small. I'm not going to dive into too much details, but if you can see blue, it means it's a positive matchup. If you see orange, it means it's going to lose against that Pokemon. So the Pokemon on top, it's going to lose against a Azumarill, for example. And it's got 41 matchup. You can see the sum of all of these matchup and then an average battle rating for each Pokemon. So by just scrolling through, you're going to be able to see what Pokemon has the highest battle rating. So 543, Hypno being a very good choice. Obviously, you guys probably seen a lot of coverage from King IV and other YouTube content creators using Hypno. So 543 being a very, very solid pick. You can see straight away, simple way to look at this, tons of blue squares, meaning it's got a lot of positive matchup. Something slightly worse, might be Magnezone. You see there's a lot of yellow matchup, meaning it does lose a lot of matchups, but it does have very dark blue matchup, meaning those are very positive matchups. So this is how you can read this very quickly. You can just scan through it just visually. If you spot a place with very dark blue, it means they have very potent matchup against certain Pokemon in the meta. So again, this battle rating, you can quickly find out, how much, if it's a good Pokemon to pick in general. Also, it's got, now I haven't explained the different columns. So we explained the colors. Now it's got the 0, 1B, 1W, 2B, 2W. What does this mean? 0, pay attention here, 0 stands for 0 shield. So in 0 shield matchup, Altaria loses to Azumarill. And 1 shield, best case scenario. 1 shield, best case scenario, meaning you shield bait your opponent. Altaria doesn't really have a shield bait move as such, but let's say if there was a Pokemon like, let's see, a really good shield bait Pokemon would be like Haunter. Haunter, if it's shield baited against Azumarill, it's going to come out on top at 668 battle rating, but if it lands just no shield bait, it's still going to come out on top with 586. This is against Ice Beam, Play Rough Azumarill. So 1 worse means that you try your big charge move and the opponent shields it. That's what it means. 1 worse case scenario. 2B again is if you land your shield baits, your opponent shields both your shield baits. And what is the battle rating there? So that's what it means. So that's pretty much it with the data sheet. You're going to figure it out on your own. If you spend some time to understand this, I'm sure it's going to be a ton of help for you for the whole season going forward, because we come out with one of these sheets every month. Now, second thing you want to look at is Trio Builder. What is Trio Builder? It's looking at your 3 Pokemon and seeing where the weaknesses are. So one of my favorite 3-man lineup that I want to play in Cliffhanger, that I've been practicing, I'm a Metachamp fan. Even though Metachamp is, people say it's overpowered or maybe it's not as good in freestyle, I really enjoy playing it. The thing about Metachamp that I really like is that because Power Up Punch, you can get off so many in one go. Even though you switch into your Metachamp and your opponent is using a Pokemon like Azumarill, it's going to be able to get off a couple of Power Up Punch, and then your opponent's going to get that charge move. It's going to basically reset the switch clock. That's the cool thing about Metachamp, because it will be able to stay in long enough and it can wait out the switch clock, unless your opponent brings a ghost Pokemon or a fairy with charm. So that's the exceptional case where Metachamp might not be as good. But in saying that, in the trio that I really enjoy playing is Tropius, Steelix, and Metachamp. And so what is it weak against? We can see straight away it's going to be weak against Azumarill if opponent decides to opt in for Azumarill. And then also Defense Deoxys is doing quite well against it as well. But Tropius does have a very positive 1 shield matchup. So knowing that, you just got to strategize how the order you play your Pokemon in. Like if you play Tropius and as a lead, knowing that your opponent's going to play Deoxys, perhaps you can strategize. You swap into Metachamp. Well, if your opponent is leading with Deoxys, you stay in with Tropius, but you have that Metachamp as a swap. And Metachamp with shields is very, very lethal. So it might force your opponent to shield. And meaning if you can draw some of the shields out of your opponent, leaving them with just 1, Tropius is going to do very well in that scenario. So another Pokemon that is very weak against, I didn't really explain how you read this, but again, it's just looking at the colors. Duo means the 2 Pokemon here, Tropius and Steelix. These 2, what are they weak against? Those 2 are weak against Lapras. Very obvious. You can see this is very easy to read. It's highlighted in yellow. And then again, the 3, when you line them up, what are they weak against? Again, these things stand out. Lugia, Lapras, as well as Tropius. This lineup is weak against Tropius. So just, even though you're weak against it, don't think that you'll lose all the time. Like, one of the best players to watch is ValorAsh. Like, I have played against him, I have seen him play it, where he plays a lineup that is triple weak against one Pokemon of the opponent, and he will still come out on top, and it's just amazing. So sometimes it's not just the team mix. Team mix, I definitely think, will drive 80% of your results, but understanding your team lineup and how you can play those matchups is very important as well. And ValorAsh in our channel, you have seen him play a lot, is definitely worth watching and learning from. So hopefully this explains the trio builder. You can sort of choose your Pokemon and see how you can build a team of 3. So going into the next thing is the team builder. This is your team of 6 Pokemon. So a very good guide to use is probably using the PvP website. You know, Matt has spent a ton of time to come up with this new team builder article for Cliffhanger. Very amazing work. I'm personally very impressed. It's got all the graphics. You're basically saying, you know, what 6 should you pick for your team. And this is very important. You know, you bring a flyer, you bring a grass, you bring a tank, bring an anti-tank. So I actually copy paste these pictures down below in the team builder. You're going to be able to just sort of pick and choose which Pokemon you want to put in. So I've already pre-made a team here, you know, without thinking too much. Umbreon, I really enjoy playing. I really like Umbreon because it's really good against things like the really popular stuff like Skarmory and then Defense Deoxys. It does decent against the other flyers as well. And what it loses to is obviously the Charm users and Metachamp. And then you can see things like the grass Pokemon will beat Umbreon as well. So Hypno, I put Hypno in, Swampert, Lantern, Tropius, and Noctowl. So what is this team weak against? What do I need to watch out for? Straight away, Altaria can pretty much take out my whole team. So I got to be really careful that I have a plan for Altaria. So straight away, I know I probably need to make some changes about this team. Another Pokemon I'm really weak against right now is Bastion. The only real counter I have is just Lantern and Swampert, but not as bad because Lantern is still going to take out the Bastion. And then I have Wigglytuff that I might need to worry about. Probopass, again, you're looking for the squares, the 20, meaning I have 20 negative matchup, and I'm very positive against Gallade and Haunter. I'm not worried about those. So how do I make adjustment? You know, what do I have? What do I change so that I can beat this Altaria? So Altaria is weak against like tanks like Bastion. So if I swap out Noctowl, Noctowl is I believe it was 1 point Pokemon. So it might not be the best one to swap out. So let's see. Perhaps if I swap Lantern out, replace Lantern with Bastion, now I have a hard counter for Altaria. So this is how I can play around to make sure I don't have any weakness. So now that I put Bastion in, I've got more weakness against Probopass. Obviously, Bastion will lose to Probopass. So I'm moving really, really fast here. But if you just open up the sheet while you're watching this video, you will be able to scroll down and see that Probopass has 23 positive matchup against this team. So that's the team builder. You can just plug your team in and just see where your weaknesses are. Now the opponent analysis, this is very important because this is how you can see how you can strategize against your opponent. So I've already pre-made a team here: Altaria, Lapras, Hypno, Lucario, Steelix, and Sableye. So again, if you open up the sheet as you're watching this, it's going to be a lot easier. So against this team, you know, like without thinking, what do I use? And you know, without going into the details, all you need to look for is the Pokemon with the most blue boxes. And very easily, you can probably tell the most blue boxes and the least yellow boxes. Yellow means you're losing, white means is slightly neutral. So you can see Umbreon is actually really good against this team, losing only to Lucario very much. And then also the one shield Altaria matchup that loses as well. So then now I know Umbreon is a very good Pokemon against the 6. I need to find the coverage for Umbreon. What does coverage mean? Coverage means that if Umbreon has a hard counter, which is a Lucario, what is going to kill the Lucario? Make sure it's scared. Make sure that, if Lucario comes out to destroy the Umbreon, I have something in the back that will be able to take out the Lucario. So Hypno being one of them, it's almost got perfect coverage for Umbreon. You can see there's tons of blue box on the Lucario. Another one would be Tropius. So Tropius being very good against that Lucario as well. So very likely Umbreon and Tropius is going to do very well together, but both being weak against Altaria. So very, so I'm almost forced to bring Bastard in this scenario. So just be very careful in those sort of lineups, because if you bring Bastard and Umbreon, you can see both of them are weak against Lucario. So this is how you roughly use this, and obviously we have a pretty big community to use these kind of sheets now. If you don't know how to use it, I'm sure you can figure it out with someone else in the community, perhaps in the comments below. But the best place to go is probably in the Go Stadium Discord. So this is a team builder, and this is how you can find out how you can sort of build a team that is going to be able to exploit your opponent. There's more in-depth strategy where you can bring double weakness to one Pokemon, like say for example Bastard and Umbreon, both weak to Lucario, but we could potentially sacrificial swap. That's another thing that you can look into if you are new to PvP. You search sacrificial swap and you'll find out more about the strategy on how you can use two Pokemon that are weak to one to try and lock it out and take it out. So yeah, do some research, guys. I encourage you guys, but the sheet definitely is something worth learning, and use it as your practice when you're preparing for your tournaments. So with that said, we do have the full version. I just want to mention that. I'm going to show you guys, already have the full version available for our patrons and our supporters. Again, we're not being money hungry. No one makes money from Pokemon Go. It's just a bit of donations going back to the community who put a lot of time and effort to do these things. Shout them some poker coins so that they can do their raids, buy their TMs. We're never going to get rich from your donations from this data sheet. It's more of a token of appreciation. So again, there's 100 Pokemon that you can choose from. In the free version, you only have one Tropius. In the paid version, you have Air/Tropius and Razor Leaf. So again, if you are a patron, a supporter, you will be the first. This was actually available very early on, first week of the tournament, and then we came up with the freemium version. So if you're a patron, you'll be able to access this straight away before the tournaments are even on the market, pretty much. So with that said, this is, and then the other thing that I really wanted to show you guys was our coaching service. So we have a very cool community now. Like you can see all these people on the side that says elite and champion. They're our elite champion supporter, and they all have a personal coach. So ValorAsh coaches a dozen of students. Housestark93 coaches a dozen of students, and we've got Caleb Pang and Gaston Augustin as well. If you're into team building, Gaston Augustin has joined us as a coach, and he's going to be of great insights for you if you're that type of person that likes to build teams. Something very unique. So you're going to be able to access some of these, the other battle analysts as well. We've got a battle analyst channel, and these are some of the top trainers, not only top trainers, but people from the worlds who, you know, actually been there and done that. So you're going to be able to have a channel just to talk to them and, you know, throw strategies around and just have a banter, have a really good community. Again, it's not one of those things where we're like, okay, we want to make money off you guys. No one makes enough money from Pokemon Go. It's money going back into the community. There is a lot of equipment and time that we need to invest in, websites, developers, things that we need to outsource. So we really appreciate the support. So that's why we try to give as much as we can. So not only that, you have the Patreon page to check out. So let's have a look. The Patreon page is over here. So you can see the different tier supporters. You can read it up by yourself. And yeah, do check it out. I encourage you guys. So thank you for taking time to look at this. Again, you have to spend time to learn this. That's one thing I need you to promise. But do check out the Patreon page as well. So thank you for listening. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.